do not be boxed into higher education as like the only be all end all, right? Because I think the thing for me that I would really have valued to learn at a particular point, especially in Massachusetts, where like there is a growing production industry, and it's like a really big commercial town, especially. And one of the things that I came to learn about, like after the fact, after just going to like a mass film office event, was about this organization called Central Booking. And essentially what Central Booking is, it's a platform that like you pay a small fee for. And with that, you now have access to any time if there is a production happening that comes from like out of town or something that's happening like in Massachusetts proper, then you are now like on a contact list to say like, hey, producers can now call you or reach out and say like, hey, we have a Bank of America commercial that we want to shoot, right? And you can now have like start to even rack up union hours too, on depending on like some of those shoots, right? And even my first gig off of Central Booking was actually an Adam Sandler film, Hubie Halloween, if you've seen that.
Yeah.
I was in the I was in I was a production assistant from the art department. And for me, like it was one of those like really funny things where I'm just like, oh, like it's so funny that they didn't. And the reason why I say like don't box it with it in college, right, is because like they're not going to teach you everything. They're not going to hold your hand. It's good for networking. It's good for like being in like proximity to certain things. And yes, I also do acknowledge that like of course like certain jobs will require you to have a bachelor's degree and anything else like that nature, right? But it's a really interesting thing between the people I was meeting on set who were in film school versus the people who are like, I just heard about this from my uncle and he got me in here and now I'm making X amount of dollars a year just doing like commercials for like, from a couple of months, a couple of seasons, and then they're just good. That's amazing. You know what I mean? And it's not something that like requires you to go into like a mountain of debt on top of that too. Because again, like that's another big thing, right? I feel like they should just like fix that particular system, but that's another hot box thing for another time. But all of that to say is that like truly explore all of these options, right? And if you have the ability to even just take like a gap year to just like really figure yourself out for just whatever, like that college is still going to be standing in the next year. And if it's not, then hey, guess what? You missed out on some fraud, which is always a good thing, right? Like who's to say like colleges get shut down,
right?
You can't finish those things. It happens. It happens.
That sounds like an awesome way to get your foot in the door, though. Like
absolutely,
especially to lessen that pressure, because a lot of it is just like the buildup of, oh my gosh, like I don't have enough on my college resume for this.